how leaders communicate. How are leaders supposed to communicate? And I hear a lot of people saying they are not leaders because they are not holding a big title, they are not sitting down in big offices and all that. And can I burst your bubble today that you are a leader in as much as you can lead yourself and you can lead others. You are a leader in your own capacity. Either you are leading your siblings, you are leading fellowship in the church, you are leading some organizations, you are leading some other things in the mosques, you are leading your family. You have a lot of people following you, you have people as your mentees and all that, so you are a leader. So it doesn't mean that until you have big office, quote and unquote, or you are given big title before you are called a leader. So a leader is a person that has a process of social influence in which one person can enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of a common task. That is what leadership is all about. So we say leadership is a process of social influence in which one person can enlist the aid and support of others to the accomplishment of a common task. That is what leadership is all about. So what are those common things that we can also be talking about leadership? What does leadership involve? What does leadership involve? Leadership involves that you must be clear in your vision to your followers. You must be clear in your visions. Establish a clear vision, sharing that vision with others so that they can willingly follow you. So everybody that's following you must understand your vision, must understand where we are all going. And you must provide information, you must provide knowledge, you must provide methods to realize that vision. Not just putting out a vision out there. So how do we want to realize the vision? How do you want it to come to fulfillment? You understand? So that is what leadership involves. And you must be able to resolve conflicts among your stakeholders. Who are your stakeholders? Your customers, your shareholders, whatever it is that wherever you are working, your stakeholders, you must identify your stakeholders in order for you to be able to resolve conflicts among your stakeholders. So let's quickly look at communication. Remember, we say leaders, how leaders communicate. So what is communication? We say communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, or behavior. So when we say somebody is communicating, that means two people or more than two people are communicating. And so they must understand themselves. So when I'm communicating and the other person doesn't understand what I'm saying, that means I have not yet communicated. So the other person must understand what I'm saying. So my communication must be clear. It must have clearance. It must be clear that the other person understands what I'm saying. So it must not be bogus when I'm communicating information or direction to any of my followers. So we said leaders, you must also have what is called interpersonal intelligence. You must have interpersonal intelligence. What does interpersonal intelligence mean? It's not emotional intelligence this time, and even though we expect every leader to have emotional intelligence. So interpersonal intelligence means it refers to the ability of a person to relate well with people and manage relationship. Some people call it interpersonal skill, they call it interpersonal relationship. So whatever it is that you call it, you must be able to manage people as a leader. You must be able to bring people together. You must be able to manage relationship, because you need this relationship for you to function well. So if you are not building relationship with people, they will not be able to follow you. So interpersonal relationship, interpersonal intelligence enables people to understand the needs and motivations of those around them, which helps strengthen their overall influence. So as a leader, when you understand the needs and you'll be able to motivate your followers, that means you have much influence on them. So without you understanding them, without you be able to motivate them, without you be able to manage your relationship with them, which is interpersonal intelligence is what we're talking about, you will not be able to have influence over your followers. People with interpersonal intelligence will say seem to stand out in a crowd, because when you understand people, when you get to a crowd, you understand how people are behaving, and you understand the mood, you understand the frustration, you understand the emotions, you understand everything that people are feeling. So you'll be able to make friends easily with people. So as a leader, you must be able to you must ensure you have interpersonal intelligence, because leaders, when we say somebody is a leader, you're able to communicate effectively and enjoy participating in discussions and debates. So when people are calling you for something, you don't run away from it, because you want them to understand you from your own viewpoint, and for you to be able to have influence over all these people. So leaders with interpersonal intelligence are characterized by their sensitivity to other people's mood. You understand people's mood, you understand their temperament, you're able to motivate them, and you understand their feelings. So you're able to know that these are the things that motivate my follower, these are the things that motivate the other person. So what motivates employee A is not the same thing that motivates employee B. You must be able to understand each of their moods and what motivates each one of them if you are a true leader. So we must be able to know one of these things. So that is what we're talking about, interpersonal intelligence. So in any business role that we find ourselves as a leader, you must be able to convey your ideas, your visions in ways that drive effective decision making. So don't, like we said earlier, don't just give instructions that are so bogus that people do not understand where you're going to, they don't understand your vision. So whatever it is that you are making, whatever decision you are making, you must be able to be clear to your followers. And when you are making a decision, your teamwork and action, whatever it is that you are going to do, must be able to be clear. Convey your ideas in a clear way to your followers. The greatest leaders motivate and inspire their team through clear communication. Like we've said, communication is a two-way thing. So when you are giving communication, when you are communicating to your followers, when you're communicating to your subordinates, your employees, or people that you are leading, you must communicate in a clear manner, in a clear way that you understand whatever it is that you are communicating to them, while also promoting discipline. Yes, you want to communicate to your followers, you want to communicate to your employees, you want to communicate to your subordinates. That does not mean that we should allow people to be indisciplined. You should know when to use the carrot and the stick. Okay, when you are a leader, you should know when to use the carrot and the stick. So, and you must promote accountability, and you must be able to know when to strategize in order for you to lead properly the people that you are leading. So the sharing of information as a leader is extremely important wherever you are leading. So when you are sharing information to your followers, you are sharing information to your subordinates, when you are sharing information to your employees, it's very, very important, and often becomes harder as you grow. It becomes harder as you grow. So when you are giving information, whatever it is that the style you used yesterday might not be what you want to use today. Probably so that you are not people do not predict you and say, oh, this is the way she thought, this is the way she's going to go about it. You must be able to give your clearance when you are giving instructions, and as you grow, you'll be able to change your tactics also. Leaders need to set good examples. You must be able to set good examples, not just say what I do, what I say rather, and don't do what I do. So when you are giving instruction, you must also lead and live by that example that you are giving, instruction that you are giving to your followers. So leaders need to set the example by communicating information. You must be able to be transparent, as much as possible, and have trust. People must trust you. So there must not be trust issue when you are leading people. So with this, people know that this person is truly a leader to reckon with. Okay, so how does leaders communicate? That is what we are talking about. So leadership communication, we say leadership communication consists of those messages from a leader that are rooted in the value and culture of an organization. So what are those culture in your organization? What are those values? So what are the things that leaders communicate? We say leaders are the ones that run the culture of an organization. All right. So leaders must be able to communicate properly. We say leadership communication consists of those messages from a leader that are rooted in the values and culture of an organization and have significance to key stakeholders, example, your employees, your customers, your strategic partners, your shareholders, whoever it is that you are leading, and even the media. If you are the kind of people that talk to media, to whatever it is that your communication must be clear, it must be concise when you are dealing with people. So these messages affect your vision, it affects your mission, and it also affects the transformation of the organization. The chief intention of a leader message is to build trust between the leaders and whoever it is that they are leading. So when you are giving instruction, people must trust you. People must trust you. That's this instruction, this action that you want to take, they trust you. When you say A is A, and if peradventure the A is not going to stand tomorrow, please come back to them and explain why A is not going to stand any longer. So you don't just take your people for granted. So those are the things that we talk about, leadership, communication. So what are the significance of communicating well as a leader? What are those significance? So messages are about big issues that reflect the present and future of the organization. That is the people, the performance, the products, and the services. So whatever messages you are passing across to your people, it must reflect the presence and the future of the organizations. The value, your messages must also include the value of the organizations. Messages reflect the value, the mission, and the culture of the organization. Remember, we say leadership around the culture, not the people. So when they see you doing A, they will also want to do the A. So your instruction, your messages, your communication also must be consistent. There must be consistency in whatever it is that you are giving as messages, exemplify stated values and behaviors of the organization. So what are the traits of leadership communication? Traits of leadership communication. In its simplest form, we say leadership communication is communication that flows from the leadership perspective. It is grounded in the character of the leader as well as the values of the organization. So when you are giving instruction, when you are communicating, it all depends on the value and the culture that the leaders want to drive home to its subordinate. Okay? It is an expression of culture as well as an indicator of the climate. So whatever it is that you are giving instructions to your followers, whatever it is that you are giving instructions to your followers, whatever it is that you're saying, it dictates your culture of the organization, the environment, the climate of that organization at that particular time. So even when you want to give instruction, when you want to communicate, look at the environment before you communicate. When everything is tense, that is not when to give instruction that will make people that their morale will be dampened. So you should also watch the climate of the organization before you give instruction. It is very, very important because we are dealing with people. We are dealing with people that have emotions, not robots that does not have emotions. So we must ensure that we look at all those things before we are able to give our instruction and communicate. So what are the categories of leadership communication? So let's look at 4 categories of leadership communication. There are verbal and there are non-verbal of communication. So verbal communication takes about 35%. What you are saying, people are listening. But your body language, your non-verbal takes like 65%. So we must be able to balance it. When you say 65%, we mean your facial expression, we mean your speech, we mean your tone, we mean your movements, we mean your appearance, we mean your eye contact, we also mean your gesture or your posture. This takes about 65%. So when you are giving non-verbal instruction, your communication styles, your traits, your categories. So non-verbal and the verbal. Remember we said verbal takes about 35% and non-verbal takes about 65%. So everything must align together. We also have what we call intentional and unintentional. So as a leader, you must be intentional in whatever it is that you're doing. So sometimes you don't mean what you're saying. So how do you now communicate to your followers whatever it is that you're saying? Intentional and unintentional. Also your action and inaction. That is number 3, your action and inaction. And number 4, whatever it is that you're saying must align with your heart. Your head must align with your heart. So when you're saying something, it doesn't mean that you're saying it from your head and it's not aligned with your heart. So you must be able to align everything together. So we're going to stop here today and we'll continue. It's a series of leadership communication. We'll come back next time to talk about more on leadership communication, our leaders, how we are supposed to communicate to our followers and be able to have influence on them, and be able, when you have influence on your followers, you're able to affect their life positively. Remember, this channel is where we inspire people to have fulfillment, where we inspire people to fulfill their purpose on earth, where we inspire people to have that fulfillment, whatever it is that they are doing. So whatever it is that I find myself doing, whatever things I find myself doing, whatever it is I'm doing, I must be able to find fulfillment. So if you are not yet finding fulfillment, please, you need to check and let's talk in order for you to find fulfillment. Thank you so very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. God bless you.